Todd is a master at mental toughness. His talk today is called The Box. Let's coach each other. It seems like you're treading water. You're treading water. What the hell am I talking about myself for? I'm supposed to introduce Todd. My point is, you're treading water. Let's coach each other. I know the product stuff like the back of my hand. I love creating products. And Todd is a master at mental toughness. And what he did, he said one thing that changed my life in that one instant. You remember what that was, Todd? Because I used to have an office, and now I work in my basement. And I kind of love it. Like, I have a reclining chair, and it's kind of like dark. Like, I just love that feeling of just kind of being this little cocoon. And he said, you know what, it's normal, it's okay. Like, it's okay to embrace that side. You know, obviously I don't want to do it all day like a freak, but it's okay to kind of go into your cave. So he's like, you don't have to feel guilty about that. And I'm just like, remember, I'm like, oh my God, I felt like this, like, it was just, this weight was lifted off my shoulders. Like, oh, unbelievable. Todd coaches some of the top athletes in the world, including the team Real Madrid, the Cleveland Browns. He also coaches billionaires and the Spanish royal family. So these aren't like, oh yeah, you know, I coach an entrepreneur who makes like 100 grand a year. I'm talking like billionaires and professional sports teams hire Todd to get them to the next level. And the stuff he's going to talk about, his talk today is called The Box, what a university lab discovered that kills your business and your team. But what's great about Todd, he's so brilliant, but his stuff is really tactical. And you're gonna love him. So ladies and gentlemen, a big warm round of applause for Mr. Todd Herman.
So, anyone know what this is right here? It is a Browning .50 caliber gun, and it is the most widely used gun throughout Allied forces throughout the world since the 1940s. And this thing can cut up a car in about 15 seconds. So why does that matter? Well, Ryan had mentioned it. So I've had a sports training organization for about 19 years working with professional Olympic athletes, helping them on the mental side. You know, how can we get you to actually perform on the field of play exactly like you maybe can perform when you're practicing? How can we get you to overcome stress, anxiety, and all the challenges that happen in those microseconds in a game so that you actually perform to your ability when it counts? And I've basically built up all my businesses on the back of speaking. That's basically my one thing. 50 minutes of the best thing I've ever heard in my life, and then he sits back down, and his name was Jim Rohn, and he was my mentor for 13 years until the day he passed away. If each one of these boxes represented a unit of time, just play along with me, this is an imaginary world we're going to play in. If each one of these boxes represented a unit of time, and it takes 4 of these boxes to complete a goal or a project. Okay, so 4 boxes equals a project or a goal is completed. So you get working on a project. So project number 1, you get working on that, and then you get working on the second project because you've got lots of things that are going on. So and then you get to go on the third one, and the fourth one, and then the fifth one. Because I'm being totally liberal here with the amount of projects and goals you probably have going on in your business. So 5. And let's say this was a week. So we had 5. At the end of the week, if it takes 4 units of time to complete a project, how many things do we have working for us in our business right now? None. We have none, because none of those got completed. We worked on 5 projects, none of them got to a point of completion. So over the weekend, we recommit to getting back to project number 1 and project number 2 and 3 and 4. And of course, a new project comes up. That's because last night I was reading a book on webinars. Wouldn't be a book, it would probably be like an article that someone sent you. And webinars are a great idea for me to implement my business. Gonna get started working on that as well. And then over the weekend, I also hear about a different strategy that I can use on Facebook. So I'm like, frick that, the people are crushing it right now. It's early in the process. A lot of people don't know about this, so I should get in this early before everyone floods into the market. So I'm gonna work on that. And then some other ideas, because that leads to another one. And then, you know, I feel bad because I haven't worked on number 1 in a long time. So I'm gonna go back to that one. And then number 3 was pretty sexy. I really felt like I was getting close to completing that. And then, oh shit, there's that other project. You know, I've thought about that one for a long time. And by the end of a month, this is what it looks like. We've done a ton of activity. We've worked hard. There is no doubting that entrepreneurs, people who are trying to birth something out into the world, don't work hard. It's just we don't have traction. We don't have things. Context switching, if you have one project and you've got one project only, how much time do you have available for that target or for that project? Oh, 100%, right? Because you've got one project, 100% of my time is all available to that. So the loss to context switching, meaning going from this project to that one and reacquainting ourselves to it, there is a scientific loss of time when you do that. You lose it, it's gone forever, because it takes a while for the mind to reacquaint itself to where it's at. You're like, where was I again on that? Oh yeah, and then it's like, and then you also have to gather your resources. Where's my pen? Where's the project stuff? Where did I file that away on that folder in Dropbox? Shit, I can't find it anywhere. And then you lose time there. And it's probably even getting more, because the study was done a little while ago. So 0% of loss. 2 projects. How much time do you have available to work on 2 projects? If you've got 2 projects, how much does each project get? 50%. That's what we would say. We don't. We've only got 40% for each project. Why? If you're working on 2 projects at the same time, you lose 20% of your available time to context switching. It's a hard cost loss. Tons of studies have been done inside of Chevron, big oil companies that I've worked with in the past, and 20% is the hard cost loss. 3 projects working on the same time. We only have 20% available time for each project, and we lose 40% of our time. So if you're working a 10-hour day, 4 hours of your day, you lose. You're a hardworking person. You're out there trying to make things happen for you and your family and your team, your company, but you're losing 4 hours every single day when you're just constantly switching back and forth between projects. 4, 10%, because you lose 50% of your day to context switching. And 5, you've only have 5% available every single day to work on each project, because you lose 75% of your day, 7.5 hours, from going back and forth between your Pinterest account and Facebook ads and webinars and trying to figure out what your next shopping cart should be because you're pissed off at one shopping cart or Infusionsoft or Confusionsoft, whatever you want to call it, because it's just not working for you. So instead, how we can mitigate and how we can reduce the loss from context switching. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't work on a couple of projects a day. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're sitting down in front of something, committing to working on that one thing for a set amount of time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's how you destroy the loss of context switching. You can beat it by committing your mental energy to just that one thing. Working with athletes, like these are athletes that have contracts that could be up to $25 million a year. And the reason that they are afforded the opportunity to earn that money is because they have a higher degree of focus and concentration. They get it done when it counts. They have a very strong frontal lobe, because this is where actually focus and concentration skills comes from, is up here. If you want to learn how to flex that muscle and become very good at it, the thing you need to do, meditation. Meditation is pretty much the most proven way that you can get into flexing that muscle, because it teaches focus and concentration. And we can talk afterwards about that. I can give you some strategies on what to do with that. Say, the new way to do it, blocking and tackling. This is what could happen for you if you just commit to working this way. Project number 1, I'm going to work on that in that unit of time. And then when I get to that next unit of time, I'm going to work on project number 1 again. And then I'm going to work on project number 1, and then I'm going to work on project number 1 again, 4 units of time. That thing is done. It's out there producing for you in the marketplace. Because your job as entrepreneurs, everyone loves to say that entrepreneurs are idea people. In today's day and age, if you are not execution people, you will be eaten alive by someone like me who wants to come into your market and dominate it. And I'm not saying that because I've got this big ego or something like that. It's just I've learned the value of what it really means to be an entrepreneur, and that's getting things out there producing in the marketplace so my customers can get more value out of my business. That's important. And then you move on to project number 2. So you know what? I get my entire webinar process done, outlined, completed, perfect. Now I'm going to throw Facebook ads at it, and I'm working on that. By the middle of the second week, I've got 2 very important parts of my marketing funnel completed out there working for me. And then I move on to the next one, and the next one. And by the end of the month, I have 5 fantastic projects. Now, this is an imaginary world, of course, but I'm just showing you the power of when you commit to focusing on one thing. Great. so-and-so that I just met at the Freedom Fest conference. Love the idea of an Instagram funnel. Have I completed all my other funnels in my process? Have I optimized them the best I can? Because if you're a solo entrepreneur, or like I talked to Brooke beforehand, someone who is a mom at home with 2 kids who are going to be pulling at her attention span, you don't have the luxury of working on a million things. And it's the illusion of entrepreneurship is gonna hurt because of this fantastic switching that we can get involved in. So, one fantastic strategy that has worked for me and has worked for hundreds of others is to theme your days. How many of you know who Jack Dorsey is? Jack Dorsey, one of the founders of Twitter and Square, you know, the little gadget you can swipe your card through to take credit cards. He's still the CEO of 2 companies. He works 2 8-hour days inside of both companies. Starts his day in Twitter, ends his day at Square. 16 hours a day. You can see it online, it's exactly what he does. Anyways, he themes out every single one of his days as well. Mondays is all about Developer Mondays. All of his development meetings, all of the people he's engaging with from a team side of things are all developers. Second day theme is all about marketing. He's meeting with all of his marketing people at Twitter and at Square. What makes it easy for him, though, is that he is then going back and forth between, he's not going back and forth between his development mind and his marketing mind on the same day. No, everything is marketing themed. It makes it very easy for him to gather insights and prepare for that particular day. So theme your days. I did it when I first started out. Jim got me to do this, which was, it was always marketing Mondays. Tuesdays was always about delivery Tuesdays, so talking to clients. Wednesdays was another marketing, because I was starting out marketing and sales. You got to offer. In order for you to get out of startup mode, you got to get out there and sell. Thursdays was all about operations and systems, and Fridays was all about finance. Finance Fridays. Did I spend all of my day on finance? Of course not. I was just too small. But I was building, that's the day that I was like building a skill. If I was going to read a chapter on something and it was about a finance, that's where it would go, is there, because I knew I could implement it on that day. And that was it. And then Sundays was Sharpen Up Sundays, which is where I'd read all type of like improvement, self-improvement type books. And so for you, theming your days, I can't stress how powerful of a strategy it can be to taking this chaos of being an entrepreneur and winnowing it down into something that's completely manageable for you. And out the middle of my back, because I herniated some discs then. And I got up, still feeling my feet, and was like, we need to go to the hospital right away. So we make our way to the hospital. The doctor says to me, you are extremely lucky. You need to go buy a lottery ticket, because 82% of the people with your injury are quadriplegic, 17.2% are dead, and 0.8% are you. Let's put you in a neck thingamajigger, which is the technical term for it, and send you on your way. So that was about 4 years ago. But since then, I've started to develop what's called rapid myelin degeneration. And so you basically, the myelin sheath that causes neural pathways to move seamlessly throughout. It's basically part of what MS is. And so part of that is that there is what looks like a hard stop to my life as well. Like the doctor's saying you've got about 3 to 4 good quality years left, and based on how fast everything is degenerating, you know, it's not looking good. So it's important that that I put the right things in those boxes, because sorry. Those 2 little ones might not have dad for a long time. So to you, while some of this might be strategic and tactical stuff, really find your why, because it makes all of that stuff that goes into those boxes very, very easy. And